Scott Groves with another mortgage mystery. What are closing costs? Closing costs are probably one of the most mysterious parts of the mortgage process because of the fact that they can be advertised in different ways. If you're talking to a lender who isn't interested in educating you on the whole process and giving you the whole picture up front, they might tell you that your closing costs are $1,600. That's a legal but not fair description of what the closing costs are, because what the lender is disclosing to you in that situation is the bank closing costs. So, for example, when our lender does a loan for a client, we charge them an underwriting fee, a processing fee, and the fee for their credit report and a couple other odds and ends. It ends up coming out to about $1,600 or $1,700 for closing costs from the bank. But that does not anywhere near tell the whole story. In addition to those bank or lender closing costs, you're gonna pay about another $500 to $800 for an appraisal. So the real amount of money that you're gonna pay a lender to get your loan is somewhere between $2,000 and $2,500. That's one bucket of closing costs. Then you're gonna have this other bucket based on your municipality. There might be county taxes, there might be dock stamp taxes, there will likely be a title or an escrow company or both that are handling the transaction. And this is gonna be this other bucket of costs with all the third-party vendors, including the inspector that you pick to look at the house. This other bucket of all these third-party vendors who are helping you get into the house and legally transfer the house from the seller to the buyer. But there's more. In this third bucket of closing costs, you're gonna have things like paying for your first year of homeowner's insurance, paying for the interest and taxes that get you to your first payment. If you're looking to do an impound or an escrow account, which we have a video here that we'll link to as well on explaining what an impound or escrow account is, you might have several months of pre-collected taxes and insurance that are getting collected up front in order to fund that impound account. For more information, check out the video that we did previously. So you've got these three buckets of closing costs of the bank or lender closing costs, these third-party vendors that are helping you inspect the property, check out the property, legally transfer the property. Maybe there's some county taxes in there. And then you've got this third bucket, which are all the prepaid items that I kind of refer to like when you rented a house and you had to pay first and last month's rent. That's kind of what goes in those prepaid items. And at least in Southern California, greater metropolitan areas in Texas, some areas in Florida where we do a lot of lending, we always tell our clients, hey, on top of your down payment, whether that down payment is $10,000 or $100,000, plan on spending about an extra $10,000 to $15,000 to get into the house, and the totality of that $10,000 to $15,000, depending on the price of the property, is what I would refer to in full disclosure as closing costs. So closing costs can be very confusing, and the last thing that you want to do is get to the closing table ready to buy your house and find out you have to come up with an extra $3,000, $5,000, or $10,000 to close on the transaction. A good loan officer will educate you about this up front, give you all this information in the disclosures early on in the process, and then walk you through the cash that you're gonna need to close on that deal. If you're concerned about closing costs, if you need to know if you have enough money to actually close on a real estate transaction and buy a house, or you have any mortgage questions about purchasing a home or refinancing a home, our team would love to help. All of our contact information is below, our email, a link to our calendar. Leave a comment, subscribe, like this video so that we know you're interacting. And if for some reason we're not licensed to do mortgages in the states where you're looking to buy a house, we can refer you to a great loan officer we know personally who's local and can work alongside you to explain the concept of closing costs, the total amount it's going to cost you to get into the house, and then help you close on the deal. Scott Groves with Mortgage Mysteries. Thanks for checking us out.